17th. I believe we are 20 days away from Election Day, and a lot of stuff is coming out in the last 24 hours. If you guys have been here the last few days, you know we have talked a lot about Tim Walz, and there's more today to get into. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't see anybody in the live chat yet on the screen, but I think we should be good. Excuse me for the scratchy throat. Okay, we're just going to jump right into this because we talked previously about the allegations that came out about Tim Walz on the X channel called Black Insurrectionist, right? He posted all these things that were showing that there was a victim of Tim Walz from when Tim Walz was a high school teacher in Nebraska. And this person came out and sent these letters over to Black Insurrectionist stating that he had been abused, sexually abused, had been groomed basically by Tim Walz as a teenager. The guy was 14 to 18 years old. Then we had another person that came out who was an exchange student who came out and did an actual interview, hidden face and altered voice interview with a few different people. And now, last night, there is a third person, okay, that they're saying that has come out to say that he was sexually assaulted by Tim Walz when Tim Walz was a teacher and this person was a student at his high school. I would like to first off start this with, these are all allegations. These are all alleged. These are all non-proven. And technically, Tim Walz is innocent until proven guilty, but also I believe you should believe victims until proven that they're not victims. So it's one of those fine lines you got to walk right now. There are a lot of big names who won't talk about this really, like Megyn Kelly actually talked about Black Insurrectionist on one of her videos a couple days ago, 2 days ago, I think. And she talked about the fact that he seems really shady because he's the same one who came out and said that he had information from an ABC whistleblower that the debate questions were given to Kamala Harris ahead of time. And then he stated that he had sent everything over to the speaker, Mike Johnson. And so Megyn Kelly reached out and said, Mike Johnson never got any of these whistleblower allegations. Nothing was ever filed. But because of how I think and the way that I don't trust our government, my brain goes, what if there was something sent by an ABC whistleblower and it did go to Mike Johnson, but then they got rid of everything. They covered it up. Come on, like the government doesn't cover shit up on a daily basis. We know they do. So I'm still in the limbo line of, I do believe there are victims of Tim Walz, but what came out last night is meant to be damning on both sides because you're going to have some people who see the video that came out last night on X, which is the first place that I saw it. I saw it the second it came out. Although there is no original source that I have been able to find. Teresa, thank you very much, ma'am. There's been no original source of this video that came out last night of this person that made a video saying he is a victim of Tim Walz from when he was in high school, when he was 17 years old. There's this video and it's being passed all over X, all over social media. There may already be videos here on YouTube. But when I saw it last night, my very first thought was this person isn't real. This person looks like AI. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of the video because it's important that you guys see exactly what I'm talking about. The problem here is, and let me tell you the problem. It is very hard to tell these days what is real and what is fake. AI is an amazing tool, but it's also a terrifying one because you don't know if the picture that you're seeing, the video you're seeing, the audio you're hearing, if they are real or not. There are videos out right now of, celebrities dancing in mosh pits and presidents dancing in mosh pits, and it's not real, but you only know it's not real because you think to yourself, they would never. But because it looks so incredibly real, it's hard to tell the difference now between literally a deep fake and something that is accurate. So when this video was shown last night, when I saw it on X, I was very wary of it just because a couple things did not line up to me. And I'm going to show you this video. And I want you guys to see this. So it says breaking on this video. Tim Walz's former student, and the guy's name is Matthew Metro. And we're going to get into a bunch of stuff about this actual person, okay? Drops a shocking allegation, claims Walz sexually assaulted him in 1997 while Walz was his teacher at Mankato West High School. Metro was a senior at the time. If this is true, it's a political earthquake. The first person I saw post it was a channel on X called 1776. Now, this is the video. I'm not going to play the audio. I will put a link to this later on. You guys can go look at it, but I don't want YouTube to completely remove this video if they don't want this shown. But this is the person that they are saying is Matthew Metro. They are saying that this is the video that he made saying that he was abused by Tim Walz. You guys can, hopefully this isn't backwards anymore. I tried to fix everything. My phone had done an update, so everything was coming through backwards for you guys. Hopefully this is correct. You guys can read the words and everything else. But this is the problem here. This video has issues for me. One, I know there's the phrase black don't crack. I mean, African Americans' skin looks generally just flawless forever and a day. But the smoothness of this man's skin, and he's supposed to be probably 47 or 48 years old. That one's hard for me. Number one. Number two, the blink never blinks all the way. It's still backwards. Son of a, listen, I fixed it on my camera and everything today. I put it so it would mirror, all that stuff. I don't even know what to tell you. This to me doesn't look real because of the mouth movement, the audio to it, which I will again put the link in the pinned comment so you guys can look at it later. The audio to it sounds awkward to me as well. But the fact that the blinks never fully blink, the skin is way, way too smooth, but there's more to it. If you guys saw the thumbnail, this person's face that they're saying is Matthew Metro does not match up with an actual person named Matthew Metro that I came across doing some research. So I'm going to bring this up. I want to show you everything. There's a lot of pictures, a lot of information here. This will take a while to get through everything. I just want to give you guys a head up. So the first thing I did when this video last night came out was go on to ChatGPT. Now, a lot of people are for ChatGPT. A lot of people are against it. But let me put something out there for you. ChatGPT, in theory, cannot lie to you. In theory. Now, it pulls things from the internet, it pulls things from documents, it pulls things from areas that you and I could never get into to answer questions, right? I went on ChatGPT and I said, why was Tim Walz, because I had questions before any of this, but after this video came out last night, I had questions. I said, why was Tim Walz released from his teaching position at Alliance High School? And I want you to hear the ChatGPT response, okay? Tim Walz resigned from his teaching position at Alliance High School in 2006 after he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. His departure was part of the transition from being a teacher to serving in Congress, and there were no allegations or controversies surrounding his resignation. I didn't ask about that, ChatGPT. I didn't ask about that. So that's very interesting to me that all I said was, why was Tim Walz released from his teaching position? And it says, and there were no allegations or controversies surrounding his resignation. I feel like we're hiding something now. I feel like they are hiding something somewhere. So then I said, why was Tim Walz released from his teaching position in Nebraska? This is the response. Tim Walz was released from his teaching position in Nebraska due to an incident involving the use of an educational tool. And I was like, I don't think a penis is an educational tool, but continue. It says here he had a conversation with students about a project that involved using a water gun to demonstrate a lesson. This led to a misunderstanding, and he ultimately decided to resign. There were no allegations of misconduct related to minors. Bro, I didn't ask about misconduct related to minors at all. ChatGPT is being a little saucy and letting you know, without letting you know, that there has been obviously something in the past in woodworks, in articles, in writing, in papers that have changed hands that did have allegations of misconduct related to minors. And the first one, again, the answers, the way this thing is answering, I was like, huh. Now, we talked about this 2 days ago when the very first person came out and Black Insurrectionist was posting all this stuff, and it showed that the school board, the school board had decided unanimously 6-0 to let Tim Walz resign from his teaching position. And we talked then about the fact that it wasn't that he wanted to resign, it was that they wanted him to leave, but they didn't want to talk about the reasons why, because it's a small town. And when they tell you, they don't want to say, we hired a teacher who has been, inappropriate with students. the fact that even nothing before that was talking about the fact that he was, trying to with water guns and all this other stuff. It's very, very interesting. The things that are swept under the rug when somebody gets into power, or if it's something that's going to shed a very bad light on a school, a church, any organization, a party, you know what I mean? Like all these issues. So I had more questions. And then we're going to get to Matthew Metro, the guy who came out last night with a video, allegedly, claiming that he was sexually assaulted by Tim Walz. Because that right there. I said, I asked how many times he'd been to China. I said, how many times has Tim Walz been to China? And it says, Tim Walz has traveled to China multiple times, particularly during his tenure in Congress. For some reason, they forgot to leave out all of the times he traveled to China as a teacher, taking students with him, particularly during his tenure in Congress. All right, that's fine. I said, and then here's the problem. So ChatGPT, I said already, is not supposed to be able to lie. What it does is it pulls from information that it can find that has been uploaded, all these other different things, right? But I do think that ChatGPT is run by, obviously, people that don't want certain information getting out. I said, how did Gwen Walz get pregnant? I was just curious, right? Because Tim Walz high fives Gwen Walz. I've never seen him hug. There's no kissing. There's none of that. They high five each other. I can't ever imagine his penis and her vagina having ever made a connection, right? It says, Gwen Walz became pregnant through natural conception, as she and Tim Walz have been married since 1994 and have 2 children together. Well, it wasn't natural conception. It wasn't IVF. There's 4 letters in it. IFV something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't IVF. It was the other form. It wasn't natural conception. It wasn't, how man and woman bound chicken wow wow. It was due to medical help, right? So ChatGPT has been told to say that it was from natural inception. All right. Then, y'all, I said, how many times did Kamala Harris fail the bar exam? And again, we're going to get to Matthew Metro in just a second, but I had to go through these things with you. And it says, Kamala Harris did not fail the bar exam. She passed the California bar exam on her first attempt in 1990. Okay, well, according to the Associated Bar, blah, 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 blah website, Kamala Harris attended the University of California, Hastings College of Law, since renamed to something else, and graduated with her law degree in 1989. According to Kamala Harris's own memoir, The Truths We Hold, which we all know are lies, she first took the California bar exam in July of 1989. Harris failed her first test, later calling it the most half-assed performance of my life. I guess she wrote this before she was vice president, because that's been her most half-assed performance of her life. But a few months later, in February of 1990, she took the test for a second time and passed. So ChatGPT has been told to say that Kamala Harris is perfect and never failed her bar exam and passed it on the very first try, which is a lie. Now, some of these things are lies and some of these things are truths. It's like that stupid game, 2 truths and a lie with ChatGPT right now. So I went through and started asking about Matthew Metro as soon as it came out last night. It was my first thing I did. I was like, let me just Google a whole bunch of stuff, try to find what I can find, go on a bunch of different websites, the Wayback and DuckDuckGo, and let's just go everything we can find, right? So I said, was Matthew Metro a student of Tim Walz? Yes, Matthew Metro was a student of Tim Walz when Walz was a high school teacher and football coach in Minnesota. Walz later became a U.S. congressman and governor of Minnesota. Okay, cool. So then I said, where is it? I said, was Matthew Metro sexually assaulted in 1997? And I want you to see, and again, it's backwards, and I swear I tried to fix it. It told me it was fine. But this says, was Matthew Metro sexually assaulted in 1997? And then it answered me and immediately removed the answer and said, this content may violate our terms of use or usage policies. So I asked it again and screenshot the shit out of it immediately. And this is what happened. When I asked, was Matthew Metro sexually assaulted in 1997? Yes, Matthew Metro was sexually assaulted in 1997. He has spoken publicly about his experience, which has contributed to broader conversations about abuse and accountability in educational settings. And then it immediately deleted it again and gave me another error code. And I was like, okay. And I want you to see if I can get, it won't show it. So look, every time it answered it, it would then immediately delete it. And I was like, oh, you shady, shisty mofo. So I took the screenshots, right? So then the next thing we have, there's so much here, and I'm trying to stay in some sort of order, but if you've ever been on SquirrelTribe before, I'm all over the place. It's called Squirrel for a reason, but everything comes back to whatever. So here's the video. Okay, again, here's the video that this guy put out saying that, and he didn't put it out. I still cannot figure out the very first channel or page or whatever you want to call it that uploaded this video saying it was from Matthew Metro. But there's already been a lot of, what's it called? What is it called? Adding context, whatever the crap they call it over on X. And they talk about this is an AI generated video, not Matthew Metro. His nose and ear shapes are different from those in the video, blah, 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 blah. And then it says here, Matthew Metro attended Mankato West High School between 1993 and 1996, went on to work at a New York ballet company and became homeless in 2021. That part's true. Somebody else said that he was only there till 1996. Well, I have the yearbook photo of 1997 when he was a senior, and that is the year that he graduated. So even on X, these, whatever this thing is called underneath, and I can't think of the word, you guys have probably already said it here, but when they go through and they fact check on X, even that shit is wrong, because this fact check is saying that he was only there from 93 to 96. And we have the yearbook. I'll show you the photos of 1997 when he was a senior. And I went through and looked up all these other different names in that yearbook, and they were all seniors in 1997. They all say they graduated at the same time. Matthew Metro graduated in 1997. Now, this here is, I went through and I pulled up his Facebook. I found him on Facebook. So I went through and pulled it up. This is Matthew Metro. And again, this shit's not supposed to be backwards. And I'm sorry, I kept trying. I don't know. So it says here, he worked at Lancaster School of Ballet, former recruitment consultant, University of Pennsylvania, went to Mankato West Senior High School. This is him. All right. This is the man. 958 friends over on Facebook. And you see that picture there? That is the face of Matthew Metro. Where is it? Hold on. Nope. Come back. Wait a second. I have way more. I'm in the wrong spot. Too many stuffs. Okay. That's what I was showing you. That's the picture. And it's so hard to see these things. And I'm sorry, y'all, I don't edit for a reason. Number one, it's much easier for me to just keep going than it is to edit. And then you also know that you're not getting anything sliced out, cut out, altered, whatever. This is what it is. If I F up, I F up. If it takes too long, it takes too long. Deal with it. So he posted May 4th, 2021, still trying to get off these streets. All right. He became homeless in 2021. And that is the last post that I could find on his Facebook. There's been nothing since then. So to me, the fact that he hasn't been on Facebook since 2021, he said he was homeless. There's things on here that talk about how he has no phone, he has no whatever else. He hasn't posted in 3 years, and to suddenly somehow be able to record a video of himself coming out about Tim Walz and upload it somewhere, although he doesn't have other social media that I could find, it's very interesting to me, and I don't know where the original came from. But the fact of the matter is that this is a thing, all right? And I want to show you more. My nose itches. More stuff. This is his profile picture, which again, all of his profile pictures that I could find on Facebook are extremely blurry. Now, you saw the video, the AI video of the guy who says that he's Matthew Metro, and he was, coming out about the allegations and giving allegations about Tim Walz. In theory, this person does look like that person, or that person does look like him. Same mustache, same beard, same shape nose, same shape eyes. Skin tone different, but, I'm married to a black man. In the winter, he's a lot lighter than he is in the summer. In the summer, he goes out in the sun, he's much darker. So that could have something to do with this. Just like I am darker in the summer and lighter in the winter, it happens to everybody's skin. So it's possible, right? The problem, though, is that it does not seem feasible. So this is another picture of this Matthew Metro guy. And again, you saw the video. It does not look the same to me. And again, with the speech, the pattern, the teeth of the person in the video don't look real to me. They don't look accurate. If he has been homeless for the last 3 years, of course, his teeth will start to deteriorate and everything else if he's not able to keep up with things. But the problem is the shape of everything is wrong. It doesn't look right to me. And this is why this is a big deal. Because if this person, this Matthew Metro, which it does say has come out and talked about being sexually assaulted and has talked about it previously in the past and, you know, all this other stuff. If this is real, the fact that this video does seem to be AI is going to give it less traction and less believability, okay? I don't know how to look at the video that came out. It's hard for me to look at it and go, oh, we have a third victim, when it feels like it's designed to destroy the credibility of the possible first two victims. That's how I look at this. It's designed to destroy the credibility of the first two victims, because this can be construed as fake because the video does look so much like AI. The last thing that he posted word-wise was in November 9th, 2020. He says, update, I am not okay yet. After fleeing an ongoing, increasing violent situation and surgery in a week's stay in the hospital, for which I am still undergoing treatment for a torn tendon and broken foot, I was forced to stay in a domestic violence shelter from which I have left due to no vacancies for me. I have been targeted by several groups known and unknown to me. So-called friends, strangers, convenience store employees, hobos, and even those sworn to protect, resulting in hospital stays, police reports, and visits to the ER at the rate of every other day till last Friday, when I was falsely jailed for suspected terrorist threatening, if you can believe that. That being said, I am broken, tired, and scared. That post to me by the person named Matthew Metro, who is the actual person who went to Mankato West High School. The pictures, I have his yearbook picture in that. They are the exact same person. This to me sounds like somebody who is mentally messed up. And then I think to myself, well, if I was sexually assaulted by my teacher, I would be mentally messed up too. There's a lot of people who deal with things quietly that they never talk about, that alters how they are as a person, how they deal with things, how they see themselves, how they see other people, based off of past traumas that maybe have never healed. And in the video, he talked about the fact that he was assaulted. So what he talked about with Tim Walz, he said that he was in Tim Walz's class, his senior year, and senior year, junior, one of the 2 years, junior or senior, I don't remember. I'm sorry about that, which year it was. He said he was in Tim Walz's class and he was having a lot of issues with people at school, with bullies, and with his parents. So he mentioned to Mr. Walz, Coach Walz, whatever he was called them, that he needed somebody to talk to. He needed some help because he was having problems. So Tim Walz told Matthew Metro, according to the video, okay, this is allegedly according to the video that came out last night, said, stay after class and we'll talk. So after class ended on one specific day, he stayed after class and, you know, Tim Walz went over and sat down next to him at his desk, the table that he was at. And he says, you know, the Matthew Metro guy starts telling him about all the issues with his parents and all this other stuff. And he said at that point, Tim Walz put his hand on his thigh, on his leg, on Matthew Metro's leg. And he said, listen, I understand what you're going through because, you know, it's a big deal. It's hard to be gay basically in life. And he said, I know that you're into men because I am as well. This is what he said, Tim Walz said. And he said that Tim Walz then unzipped his pants, the Matthew Metro's pants, and reached into Matthew Metro's pants and began touching him. And then they heard a student running down the hall and that stopped everything. And Matthew Metro in the video last night says that he then, you know, he left and he never told anybody about it. He didn't tell his parents, his guidance counselor, anybody else. And he was basically messed up after that because it was somebody he trusted and he didn't know what to think. He already knew that he was gay. Matthew Metro knew that he was gay, but it was awkward for him because his teacher was basically coming on to him. So that's what his video said last night. And when you look back at the fact that the other two alleged victims with no names have come out and said almost the same things, that during high school, this was the issue, that he was grooming them, that he would touch them inappropriately, that he would tell them that they were gay and he understood that because he was also gay and all this other stuff. It gives a little bit of credibility to it. But again, that video that they showed last night is where it loses me. So this is him. This is Matthew Metro, and I'm trying to like zoom, but not zoom too much so you guys can see this. He posted this himself on his Facebook. This is him, 1996. This matches his yearbook picture from 1997, which I will show you. So at this time, this is the young man that in theory came out in a video last night, 30 years later, and says that when he looked like this, when he was in high school looking like this is when he talked to Tim Walz about, being lost and confused or whatever else and needing somebody to talk to. And Tim Walz hit on him. Now, the problem here is, and like I've said numerous times, that because it cannot be proven, it's going to be looked at and swept under the rug. Now, if it was somebody saying Donald Trump had done this or anybody else, a Republican, the Democrats would be running with it, right? But now, because it's against a Democrat, they're like, oh no, this is trash and you guys are just trying to whatever. But let me just say, Matthew Metro is a Democrat. He is all about Biden and Harris. He has no love for Republicans whatsoever. And I have other pictures here. He clearly also has something mentally wrong with him. These are posted on his Facebook. I say mentally wrong, but some people are just extraordinarily, out there. And he may be one of those people. The problem here, this is his face. This does not match the face of the guy in the video that was posted. Obviously, there's no mustache, there's no whatever here. Same nose, same eyes. But that video last night, I personally believe is AI. Colin, YouTube putting Harris ads on your live stream. They put Kamala Harris ads on everybody's everything now. You're not going to see a Trump ad, but they're going to have Kamala Harris all over YouTube now. The guy does not look like this to me. I do not believe that video last night was real. And like I said, it destroys the credibility. However, there is a Matthew Metro who did go to Mankato High School, West High School, who did say that he was sexually assaulted and has spoken out about it numerous times. I cannot say 100% that the story isn't real, that the issue isn't real. I just think that the video that came out is not real. That people are like, it looks like he's reading a script. Well, I mean, when you want to make sure you're getting all your information out there, you read things. If I scripted, it would be a lot easier. I wouldn't be all over the place, but I keep notes, right? I do believe this is possibly a third victim, but again, I don't believe the video itself is that person and is real. The words may be, I do not believe that the video itself is. And we know for a fact that he is not a fan. Zoom. I can't get it to zoom. He's not a fan of Trump because this here says 45 Mankato whatever fucking hates you. And he posted it and was like, woohoo. He's all about Democrats. He's all about not Donald Trump. He loved Biden Harris. So for this to be real would say a lot if this really did happen and he's coming out now because it's Tim Walz. He may be a fan of Democrats, but because it's Tim Walz, he can't keep quiet about it anymore because of who Tim Walz is. And again, these are all allegations. There's no 100% proof. I don't even know how after 30 years you prove if you were sexually assaulted or not by somebody. There's no rape kit at this point, right? Cheryl says, Michelle, what is your email when I send a link about something quietly passed into law? Yeah, my email for everybody who's curious is SquirrelTribeOnYT@gmail. You guys can send me anything you want over there. It's in the about section as well. I looked it up, like I said. Mankato West here, again, backwards, not on purpose, but class of 1997 has, and it says here, hold on, where we go. It says class of 1997, backwards. Y'all can look at it in the mirror yourself if you want, but it has Matthew Metro's name in it. I circled it for you. Matthew Metro's name is there. He graduated in 1997. He did not leave in 1996. 1997 is when he's saying these allegations happened with Tim Walz. And this is what I was showing you guys earlier, is in the thumbnail. This is this guy's picture. This is the AI video. Again, the nose looks the same. The shape of the eyes and eyebrows looks the same. The lips do not to me. The beard is too perfect, personally, thought process there. And the shape of the face is a little bit off, even without the braids. We saw his face previously in other pictures. And his skin is definitely darker, but again, it is summer, so that's a possibility. But I do not believe that this is real at all. The Facebook, definitely real. That thing's been around for years and years and years. Tons of pictures and things on there. This Matthew Metro guy ended up being a dancer. And if you saw the picture that I showed you when he was 1996, He had on a dance t-shirt. He's been in a lot of things. And I think that person is real. The video last night, not real. Don't believe it. Stay away from it. And so, excuse me. It says here, 1998 is when he graduated. Forgive me. What year did Matthew Metro graduate Mankato High School? It says here on ChatGPT that he graduated in 1998. 1998 was the senior yearbook, not 1997. So then I asked about other people, and it was the same thing, that they graduated in 1998. I'm trying to find the extra pictures. What is happening here? I lost one. Something got lost. Y'all, again, so much with everything from last night with this guy and coming out against Tim Walz. I do believe the other two victims are accurate or real. I believe that Matthew Metro was probably a victim, but my whole take on it is the video last night was not, and it's going to be something that is damning to the other two. Also, Black Insurrectionist, the one who posted the original thing, they're saying that he has been put into a X jail, if you will. But let me explain something there to you as well. I am no longer going to get any of my information from Black Insurrectionist. I do believe that there are victims to Tim Walz, like I said, but I do believe that that person, that page on X may be designed to share false information. And I'm going to explain why, because they're saying that he is telling people that he was put on like some sort of jail for 3 days from X because too many trolls posted about his account, right? So I went on X and went to the help center. And I said, why? It says here that most X accounts will be suspended. Most of the accounts we suspend are suspended because they are spammy or just plain fake. And they introduce security risks for X and for everyone on X. Okay, that's a big deal, right? Right there. Where's my next picture? Hold on. I have another one. The next one here says X's purpose is to serve the public conversation. Violence, harassment, and other similar types of behavior discourage people from expressing themselves and ultimately diminish the value of global public conversation. Our rules are to ensure all people can participate in the public conversation freely and safely. Now, the Black Insurrectionist, once he put that up, obviously it's going to be considered harassment against Tim Walz because it's getting shared all over the place. Hell, even my stuff may be considered harassment, even though I don't tag Tim Walz in it. But there may be another reason why this guy's channel is messed up. Another part from X here says that abuse harassment, this is what they're calling it. You may not share abusive content, engage in the targeted harassment of someone, or incite other people to do so. So again, I fully believe that Black Insurrectionists may have been put into X jail, either because X believes that he is spam based off of Megyn Kelly talking about the fact that his ABC whistleblower information never really came to fruition. Then they're talking about how some of the things that he showed, that Black Insurrectionists showed on X, they look like they were altered, they were fake, they were spam. And the fact that he kept calling out Tim Walz, and he was going on to Tim Walz posts. He was responding to other people's posts about Tim Walz with all these allegations and things like that. I've made videos and that's it. I'm not going on people's posts and talking shit because, again, these are allegations, but there's something that we need to talk about, because if they are true, we need to have this conversation. If they are false, I would rather have this conversation and say, hey, listen, at least we talked about what happens if you are sexually abused as a child. At least we talked about, the possibility of victims having a chance to come forward and speak. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? That's how it works. I have never once said that Tim Walz did do any of these things. I said he seems like the type of guy because he comes across as a creepy motherfucker. He is gross and I'm not a fan, but I have no proof that he has laid hands on anybody. Just everything that goes together gives me that gut feeling that there is something there, just based off of who the man is and the things that he has done to the state of Minnesota and the things that I've seen him do amongst his own kids. And all the pictures of him and all the statements that he personally has made, I don't get a good feeling about him, right? Now, another reason is X will suspend your account for authenticity. It says platform manipulation and spam. You may not use X's services in a manner intended to artificially amplify or suppress information or engage in behavior that manipulates or disrupts people's experience on X, which again could have been what they deemed Black insurrectionists was doing was amplifying or suppressing information. The problem is that I don't see anywhere where they say they suspend you for 3 days. Everything that I've seen says 7 days. And Black insurrectionist is telling other people that he's on suspension for 3 days. If that is the case, then tomorrow morning, he should immediately be right back up and running on his X account. And if he's not, there's an issue. But also, if he is, there's an issue when X is telling you that 7 days is what their suspensions are. So does that mean that Black insurrectionist has been, just jerking everybody around for 3 days and faking it? Lots of questions, right? It says here, synthetic and manipulated media. You may not deceptively share synthetic or manipulated media that are likely to cause harm. In addition, we may label posts containing synthetic and manipulated media to help people understand their authenticity and to provide additional content, which again is why I refuse to post up the video that was put out last night by this, in theory, Matthew Metro, because to me, the video is not real. It looks like AI, and I don't want any of my stuff flagged because I'm not going to share that as real, right? Excuse me. Well, there was another one I wanted to share with you guys. That one's not important, about the X rule, so everybody feels safe. Okay, so according to this, context matters. That's what it says. The behavior is directed, when they're trying to decide if they're going to take enforcement action, they consider three main factors. The behavior is directed at an individual, group, or protected category of people. Well, all of this is directed at Tim Walz, obviously, right? The report has been filed by the target of the abuse or a bystander. So it's possible that even Tim Walz or the campaign people for Tim Walz or Kamala Harris reported Black insurrectionists and said, listen, take him down right now because maybe he's spreading false information, or maybe he's spreading information that they don't want to have being talked about right now when there are less than 3 weeks away till the main voting day, right? Early voting has already started. November 5th is the main voting day. And maybe they just don't want this out there, right? And then it says the content may be a topic of legitimate public interest. So they're saying that they determine if they take enforcement action if the content may be a topic of legitimate public interest. Why would you take negative action if the content is legitimate public interest? To me, anything that would be coming out right now, I would be having the same conversation with you right now if it was Donald Trump, if it was JD Vance, if it was Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, anybody right now that's in the presidential office or running to be president or vice president. If allegations came out, we would be having the exact same conversation in the exact same way. If there were victims, I would be saying, hey, listen, we're going to listen to the victims until it's proven that they're wrong. Or, we're still going to believe that the other person's innocent until proven guilty, but you have to give victims a voice, because if you don't, victims quit speaking up. And then we have more and more victims because there's less and less people being held accountable for their actions, right? So the fact that, again, Black insurrectionists is quieted down, not said anything for 3 days, it's a huge deal. And I want him to show back up just to see what will be said. I don't have anything else there on that. We do have a lot more public impact. No, there's too much here. I'm just trying to make sure that there's nothing here that needs to be said. Ability of coverage, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not important either. Okay, so that's that. We're done with that. You guys doing good over there in the live chat? I haven't really been able to check anything. Somebody said I should turn my camera around. The reason I don't is because this way I can actually see the live chat while we're live. I can't look at it on my computer while doing this, because then the volume's all messed up and everything gets wonky. So that's why I have it on this way. And I did fix my camera for everybody who's asking. Right before this, I went through and changed it so that a selfie still looks like a selfie. It's not supposed to be flipping anything around. So this right now, I have no clue why it's still doing what it's doing. What do we have here? Side note, there was a shelter in place that was ordered yesterday in Arkansas. For those of you who aren't aware, if you happen to be in Arkansas, this is a massive deal. This reminds me of exactly what happened in Conyers, Georgia, just a couple weeks ago. This says shelter in place has been issued as numerous firefighters are responding to a massive fire at a recycling center plant releasing toxic smoke. A shelter in place order has been issued as multiple fire departments, hazmat teams, and emergency crews respond to a massive 3-alarm fire in Rogers, Arkansas. The fire is at Mark Industries, a recycling center located across the street from Carter Field Rogers Airport. Now, this is probably the 5th or 6th time that a huge recycling plant or recycling area has gone up in flames. I know we covered probably 5 or 6 of them in the last 2 years. It's getting to be a little interesting how often these things go up in flames, because it's a lot easier to just set it all on fire than it is to figure out what to do with it. Once the recycling center's full, what do? Like, where is it all going? So they just set it on fire and pretend like, oops, something happened. But now they have clean land again, because then they can just scrap it and throw it all away. Oh, y'all, there's so much going on. I want to talk about Kamala Harris too, but that needs to be its own massive thing, because there's a lot with that as well. What do we have here with her interview on Fox with, how do you say his name? I don't even know how to say his name. Brett Baer? Is that how you do his last name? Yeah. There's a lot there. There's a lot going on with the fact that the Department of Defense has made it so that they can just legally now kill Americans. In case you guys weren't aware, September 27th, this came out. This is the DoD intelligence and intelligence-related activities and defense intelligence component assistance to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities. This basically states that the military, an entity designed for external enemies, now turns its gaze inward, poised to act with deadly precision when the inevitable clash of wills erupts. So basically what they have done is they have given our military the ability to turn their firearms on us if we are unruly, and they've done this right before election. So they're expecting there to be some sort of civil unrest after November 5th and in January. And now they have made it so that we are no longer safe in our own country, which is, martial law was always the goal. This says here, assistance in responding with assets with potential for lethality or any situation in which it is reasonably foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement and civilian individuals or groups is reasonably anticipated. So they have given the military the authority to use lethal force against civilians who are clashing with police officers and whatever else. That's crazy to me. So now your National Guard comes out, and instead of they're, there to keep the peace, think, Minneapolis here, they are now allowed to just turn around and shoot you. I don't believe that our fellow Americans are going to do it, but the fact that they have been given the okay to do so is despicable to me. Just warning you, when the state moves in silence, it is because it expects resistance. They are doing these things. They're not bringing it to light. They are not giving you the heads up that there is the possibility of retaliation against citizens over November 5th and everything else. Also, I do want to remind people, we've talked about this before, but Tim Walz is known to be a liar. We're just going to go backwards a little bit. Tim Walz is known to be a liar. He has lied so very many times and been called on it so very many times. Let's not forget when the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry wrote him a letter to tell him to quit lying. Okay. So this was in November 1st, 2006. This is when he was leaving his teaching position to jump into Congress, right? It says, "Dear Mr. Walz, it has come to my attention that as part of your campaign for U.S. Congress, you have posted your biography on your website that claims you received an award from the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce for your service to the business community. I have been the president of the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce since 2000 and a professional staff person of the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce for over 20 years. We researched this matter and can confirm that you have not been the recipient of any award from the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce. I'm not going to draw a conclusion about your intentions by including this line in your biography. However, we respectfully request that you remove any reference to our organization, as it could be considered an endorsement of your candidacy. It should be pointed out, however, that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has endorsed your opponent, Congressman Gil Gutmetch, for his support of small business issues, and it is signed by Barry L. Kennedy, the president of the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry." And again, it's backwards, but it is what it is. We talked about this months ago, right? He has been lying for as long as his lips have been able to move. And he gets called out on it numerous times. And his response is always, "Oh man, I'm a knucklehead. Oh man, I don't know how to use words correctly. Oh man, it's just a penis." Like, I expect that one to be the next one. I was just trying to help the kids. You know, I want to help the kids and let them know that it's okay to be gay and show them how to be gay if they needed to be gay. Okay, Tim Walz, you're a creepy individual, no matter how you look at it. Listen, we're going to do Kamala Harris stuff later because there's way too much. There's just so incredibly much. It's absolutely ridiculous. Before we do that, though, I would like to let people know that while we are still trying to figure out why FEMA is not helping the way they should after Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene, or how Hurricane Helene, then Hurricane Milton, all the money that they have, Kamala Harris not only gave millions of dollars to Lebanon right after Hurricane Helene, now post Hurricane Milton, the Biden administration announces additional security assistance for Ukraine with another $425 million. I'm very curious why we can pull money out of our ass for everybody but our citizens. Let's see. What does this say? A smile for Don says, new subscriber, hubby and I just love you. Keep pushing out the facts. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Sorry, I'm trying to mess with the camera here. We have a woman who wants to rule this country for 4 more years. She has been partial ruler for the previous almost 4 years. And this is where we are, where we as citizens are second tier to anybody else, literally anybody else. As long as you're an illegal immigrant or you reside in another country, you come first. And American citizens, we are dead friggin' last, okay? The money that they are giving to Hurricane Helene victims, which I haven't heard anything about Hurricane Milton victims yet, unless I've missed it. I haven't heard it. Hurricane Helene, you could get up to $750 if you go online and apply for it, and you might not get it, just FYI. But if you do get it, it is a loan. So I'm gonna need you to pay that back, okay? But if you're Ukrainian or Lebanese or whatever else, we're just gonna give you millions of dollars and it's fine. We understand that you guys need it. It's fine. Just take it and save your country. We're not worried about ours. Ours is going exactly how we want it to go, down the crapper. That's it. That's how I figure Kamala Harris's phone calls go. This is Benny Johnson broke it. I was going to talk about it yesterday, and I didn't make it here with you guys. Long day. The Biden admin just sent another $425 million to Ukraine as Americans are still recovering from Hurricane Helene and Milton with minimal government assistance. You also have FEMA pulling out of places in North Carolina because civilians are fed up with the fact that that FEMA is taking supplies and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So now you have American citizens in those areas trying to do all that they can, and they are literally clashing, which is also a bad idea now that we know the Department of Defense has signed into law that our military can turn on us and use deadly force. So these people who are trying to help Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton victims who are being pushed aside by FEMA as FEMA takes everything, they have to be very careful at this point in time. Deborah, thank you. They have to be very careful at this point in time because our own military could now turn on them and take them out, right? Okay, so listen, this is a release from the White House. It says, today the Department of Defense, DOD, announced additional security assistance to meet Ukraine's critical security and defense needs. This announcement is the Biden administration's 67th tranche of equipment to be provided from DOD inventories for Ukraine since August of 2021. 67 times we have sent military equipment to Ukraine and money, okay? This Presidential Drawdown Authority, PDA package, PDA, that's funny when it comes to Biden. Anyway, which has an estimated value of $425 million, will provide Ukraine additional capabilities to meet its most urgent needs, including air defense capabilities, air-to-ground weapons, munitions for rocket systems and artillery, armored vehicles, and anti-tank weapons. I have said since frickin' day one that everything that we are giving to Ukraine, military-wise, not even the money, let's not even look at the dollars that are passing hands and getting recycled back and put into the pockets of politicians, because that's the easiest way to launder is through war. The military equipment that we are sending over there, one, it's stupid because now we have less, they have more. If Ukraine wins, great, right? Is that what we're supposed to say? If Ukraine wins, great, screw Russia, whatever. Okay, I don't know where you're supposed to go there. It depends on how you're looking at things. If Russia wins, great, screw Ukraine. Depends on your side, right? Here's how you have to look at this. No matter who wins, they have more of our military stuff than we will at this point. And they have more ease of turning around and attacking us. You have Ukraine with millions upon millions of dollars, billions of dollars worth, let's be really accurate here, of our tanks and rocket launchers and guns and everything else. If they win, they now have a full arsenal to turn on us. If Russia wins and takes all of these things from them, just like Afghanistan has a ton of our stuff that was left behind and they flaunt it all the time, right? If Russia wins and they take all of that stuff, now they have our own things to use against us. How does this make sense? How does us giving not only all of our money, but also all of our military equipment to somebody who could turn around and use it against us, how does that make sense? It does not make sense. Everything makes me think of, it's stupid, I'm sure, but Marvel, Tony Stark and Stark Industries and all that stuff from the Iron Man movies, where he found out that all of the weapons that he was making, that he thought he was making to keep the United States safe, were actually being sold to other countries so they could all fight amongst themselves and kill, American soldiers. How do you feel as a citizen when your son, your daughter, your brother, sister, mother, father, whatever, go off to war and they get killed, and it turns out it was an American-made tank that killed them, or a bomb that killed them, that we sold to another country, or we gave another country, and it got turned around and used on our own people? Hello. War is the most profitable thing in the world, which is why they don't want Donald Trump in office. Because when Donald Trump is in office, guess what? We aren't part of any wars. We're not part of getting men and women killed for no fucking reason, right? So they don't want Donald Trump in, because under Kamala and Joe Biden, they love war. Oh my gosh, they love it so much. They're willing to bankroll the whole effing thing over in Ukraine. Just saying. Let's see. The Jade Slade says, while we have been sleeping, they've done so much worse, but every time I try to share on social media, it gets blocked. Listen, they are constantly doing something that is nefarious and horrific. Nothing surprises me with our government at all anymore, whether it is the possibility of touching underage boys, Tim Walz, sniffing the hair of underage girls, Joe Biden. Just none of it surprises me. Whew, y'all, I'm sorry. I get a little worked up sometimes. Like I said, there's a whole lot. We're going to have to do Kamala Harris at a different time, because we've been here for almost an hour again, and it's a lot. And we'd be here another hour if we jump into Kamala Harris and her Fox, whatever. Let's do this real fast, and then I'm going to let y'all go. You ready? I'm going to let y'all go after this one. If I can get my phone to work. Have y'all seen Jimmy Carter? Just out of curiosity, have you seen Jimmy Carter? They kept saying that Jimmy Carter wanted to stay alive so he could vote for Kamala Harris. Here's the thing. When you're 100 friggin' years old and you look like the effing crypt keeper, guess what you're not doing? Actually voting. Your hand is not writing down anybody's name or checking any boxes or circling anything. Your mouth isn't speaking. Your mind isn't working. So how are you voting? What I hear right now is there's a bunch of videos on social media of people showing they're just mentally out of it, like completely dementia riddled parents and grandparents voting for Kamala Harris, voting for, the way forward. No, they're not. You're doing it for them. You are literally trying to steal the election by telling somebody who has no clue what's going on who they should vote for. You are falsifying votes. Look. Just look. Do you think Jimmy Carter knows who the fuck he's voting for? You cannot convince me he's not dead. You cannot convince me. Y'all, every time I see this picture, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? And they're like, Jimmy Carter voted for Kamala Harris. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He can't even pee. I'm sorry. It comes across heartless, and it's not meant to. The man is old as dirt, and yay for living that long. But the point is, they're saying this man voted for Kamala Harris. And there's no way in physical anything that this man voted for Kamala Harris at all. Yet, if we had turned it the other way and we had said that Jimmy Carter was, staying alive so he could vote for Donald Trump, the left would be losing their shit. They would be talking about how, well, that's not a real vote. He doesn't have the mental capacity to vote for himself. Yeah, well, we have a president right now who doesn't have the mental capacity to wipe his own ass. So I don't know how that's okay. But this, to me, is the sickest form of elder abuse at all possible. at all possible to parade this man around looking like this and telling people that he's holding on to vote for Kamala Harris. No, y'all are keeping this poor man alive so that you can fill out a ballot for him because his name is on it. There's the absolute degradation of this country over the last 4 years is mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing. That's that, y'all. Oh, it's just so much. I can't. All right, we're gonna do Kamala Harris. We're not gonna do Kamala Harris. I don't even think Doug Emhoff does Kamala Harris. Anyway, we're gonna have a Kamala Harris conversation later. So just be on the lookout for that. You guys can subscribe to the channel if you want to. If not, no harm, no foul. If you hit the notification bell, maybe it'll give you a heads up if the video comes out or about going live, whatever. And you can follow over on X. There's a lot of stuff I post over there. There's a lot of free stuff over on Patreon. If you guys want to go over there, there's a link in the description also. You can go over to Instagram. I'm not really there that often, so that's probably the least likely of getting in touch with me. But Patreon and X here, and my email address is somewhere. You guys can do that too. Joanne says, love your reporting. Thank you from Western Australia. Joanne, thank you so much. Hey, Australia makes really good beef, in case anybody's curious. They have much stricter rules on their meats than we do here. So I get my grass-fed, grass-finished stuff from them through ButcherBox. Love it. Absolutely freaking amazing. Just anyway, not the point of anything. I just wanted to share that when I saw the word Australia. Okay, I love y'all immensely. Y'all have a fabulous rest of your Thursday. Oh, for anybody who is curious, there is a link to ButcherBox. I am not sponsored whatsoever. There is a link though to ButcherBox in the description also, and you save $50 if you want to try it out, like on your first order. You save $50. It's kind of a win-win for you because the meats are great and you save $50. So there's that. I love y'all. I'll see you guys again on the next one. Goodbye. Have a fabulous day. Adios.